So hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be doing a review of one of the most talked about plugins from Unison, which is Bass Dragon. Now let me get started by saying that this review is not sponsored or paid for in any way. It's definitely not going to be sugar-coated. I shelled out my own money for this just so that I could do a review. I wanted to cut through all the noise and give you a straight up no nonsense opinion so you can decide whether or not for yourself to spend the money. There's a lot of paid promotions out there, a lot of paid reviews, biased opinions and stuff on these plugins, so we'll break it down, we'll go through the pros and cons, and we'll see what this plugin's capable of. Here we go. So then, here's Bass Dragon, one of Unison's headline plugins, and it claims to use actual AI, not just a preloaded bank of MIDI files, to help you generate different bass lines across multiple genres. Sounds really good, but does it actually live up to the hype? We're going to have a look at that now. So we'll start off with the pros then. So first off, it's incredibly simple to use. The interface is sleek, the controls are straightforward, and even if you're new to music production, you'll get the hang of this pretty quickly. Essentially, there's a big red button. You select the genre from the list of genres here, select your key, and then select the length, and then you hit the big red button and it generates you something here. So let's click that and I'll have a look. Press play. And that's it, that's the basics of it. So secondly, I love that it claims to use actual AI for generating MIDI patterns. That's a step up from most plugins that are out there and that are essentially glorified MIDI libraries. Whether the AI is perfect though, well, we'll get into that a bit later in the cons. So another big plus is the internal instruments. The built-in sounds are quite solid. You can tweak them to fit what you want for your own track pretty easily. It makes them quite fun to experiment around with, and to be fair, each of the genres, the sounds that are designed are pretty close to what you'd expect. You know, yeah, not far off. So then just going back to the design and the user interface then, it's clean, it's very simple to understand, and to be honest, it's quite fun to look at when you're working with it. Speaking of working with it, let's break it down and start to create something. We'll go into the individual features. First thing to note is whatever your BPM is in your DAW will be matched in the plugin. You can then select your genre, which we'll keep at house. Key, we'll go for an A minor, and we'll stick with 8 bars. Further to that, it's obviously input the key here, but you can have multiple different keys. This is handy if you're having like chord progressions, if you're taking the root notes from them and changing all these, so it'll follow the root notes essentially. But we'll stick with what it was just for the purpose of this video. Let's have a look. Let's generate something. Here we go. See what that sounds like. Just turn that down a bit because it'll be too loud. Okay, that sounds more like a fret guitar kind of bass. We don't like that, but what we can do is just change the instrument. Click that red button. Okay, don't mind that one. So let's lock the instrument. That's locked that. Change this, it'll change the overall pattern. Let's have a look. And basically, keep clicking until you find something you like. What I know you can do is as well, if you just don't like a certain selection or a certain area, so you can select it, select them notes, click the button and it'll just change that part, which is quite handy. Let's keep going. I quite like that. Yeah, that'll do. So I think the whole purpose of this plugin is to give you ideas, I guess. Or at least that's how I use it. Because I've never pressed the button and it just gave me something that I thought, oh, that's amazing, I'm going to use that. I've always had to edit it or use parts of it. It's really good for writer's block. I suppose if you're struggling with an idea or you're struggling to come up with something, it's good because you set the key, set the genre, boom, away you go, and it'll generate these ideas that'll assist you, I suppose, in coming up with something, and it'll be all matched in key and stuff, so that's a good feature. So what we can do with that now, let's just say we really like that one. The good thing about this is you can drag and drop the MIDI or drag and drop the audio, so it'll output the audio or output the MIDI. So the good thing about the MIDI I like, so you drag and drop it onto your track. I can then use that with, say, Serum or Massive or any of the other plugins that I like to use, and you can edit it and change it however you want. Now, that's good if I want to use Serum, but what you can also do is if you click this little on and off button here, when you drag and drop the MIDI onto the actual channel, it will then use the built-in plugin for the built-in sound of Bass Dragon. So if we go into there, press play, so it's now reading that MIDI, and we're using this instrument. So we can play around the instrument, and then we can just edit it directly on here, as we would a normal MIDI. And if we don't like that, just go back into Unison Bass Dragon. Play around with it a bit more, we can turn it back on, so it'll ignore what we've dragged into here, and go back to playing this. If we don't like that, we'll just change the instrument. And the good thing is as well, obviously a lot of other genres can be used. So if we go into drum and bass is obviously not 135 beats per minute, but the sounds that it comes up with could potentially be used as well. So if we have a listen to some of these, let's see what it comes up with. So yeah, don't be afraid to use the other genres for the house track that you're using. Sometimes it can work quite well. Again, I just use this for creating ideas, or start of ideas, should I say. Again, never have I got it perfect by just clicking that button. I've always had to play around with it, but essentially that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Let's have another go. See, I quite happily use that in a house or bassline track. But we can go back to the house genre, keep that pattern, and just change the sounds. Another good thing as well is if you change the key, so let's say you were remixing a song and you thought it was in A minor, but it turns out it's actually in B major. Just click that and it changes it, and it'll change the pattern to fit the right key as well. Don't sound as good, like, but you know, it fits. Yeah, I mean, they're all the main features that I know of anyway, and how to use it. I've not really played around with much of the other genres. I've had a go with the techno, the trance, trap, hip hop. I've had a dabble with, because you can use, like I said, some of the other genres as like templates to create something and then change the sound so it fits what you're working with. That's not an issue. But yeah, that's the rundown of it, I suppose. So then now for some cons. I've only really got a couple that I wanted to share with you. First off is the price tag. Bass Dragon is very pricey when it's not on sale, or at least I feel it is. I picked it up during a launch promo for around $199. I think that's around, or it was around 150 quid at the time. So yeah, I think it's quite pricey for what it is. I think the AI claims are cool, but I found that only a handful of the generated MIDI patterns were actually usable straight out of the box. I spent a lot of time hitting that generate button over and over again just to find something half decent. It's great for sparking ideas, but don't expect it to magically churn out polished bass lines for every track. Overall, what I'd say is if you've got some extra cash to burn and you're looking for a plugin to help start ideas or get past writer's block, then sure, go ahead, add it to your collection. But if you're on a tight budget, I would probably recommend waiting until it's on like a deep sale like Black Friday or something like that, because even then it's on the higher end of the price range. That being said though, it is probably the best plugin in its category right now. It's good at what it does, but there's definitely room for improvement, especially in training the AI to generate more consistently usable patterns, let's say. I'm also hoping that they expand it to include more like subgenres. You got house and deep house as a genre, but that can cover a wide range of genres really nowadays. Would I buy it again? Honestly, yeah, I probably would, but I'd only buy it again if it was on sale. I wouldn't be paying the full price for it. I do think it's overpriced. There's no getting around that. So that's my honest take on Unison's Bass Dragon. If you've been thinking about buying it, hopefully this review helps you make more of an informed decision. Let me know in the comments if you've tried it and what you think. Also, if you're interested in me reviewing similar plugins like Captain plugins or Pilot plugins, let me know because I've got them as well. If you want to see them reviewed, let me know, I'll make it happen. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss the next video. Catch you on the next one.